All right, so we got a 2004 Bobcat T300. We got a couple of different issues with it. Changed one of the rollers back there, idler roller, tensioner roller right here. And come back here, had a leak on the hydraulic pump. And this sits right there. And then you've got this plate that goes on top of it. And there's a spring with a bolt that goes in that end. Take that one bolt out and this plate slides off. Okay. And then there's right here, once you slide that off, there's 4 bolts right here that come off. And there's another plate that lifts off of that. And this goes on that plate. So this seal right here is what's leaking, if you can see that. So, all right, so this little plate we're gonna pry up and probably start spilling some fluid out. Maybe not.
Maybe a little low.
Oh no, it was pretty full. All right, then we're gonna get this little gasket out. Okay, put this one back in. All right, I'll take this seal off. And make sure the other one's the right way. And when you go back with these, you want to make sure it's this side is up and not the side that you can see.
Top of that plate.
All right, so we want to make sure that we press this seal into this plate.
There's a lip at the top that catches the seal.
Yep. It'll have just a little bitty space right there from the top to where the seal starts. And make sure it's all good and clean surface. And this seal actually probably wasn't bad, but this plate was loose, so that was probably allowing the fluid to come on through, because this ring wasn't sealing and neither was that. So probably could have fixed it with just a wrench. All right, see, it should sit flat up against there with no slack.
Figure out the right plug.
All right, once you've got this plate on, you want to come back with this other plate. We've got it nice and clean. Slip it down on there. Make sure this slides on, this little gasket. All right, and then we'll try to feed our bolts through there one at a time. All that. So when you tighten these down, you want to snug that one, come over here across. Once you got them pretty tight, then you start torquing them. Now torquing them, you can judge how many foot-pounds you're putting by the oomph. There you go. That's about 30. And it might be 32 right there. That one was 30. Oh, that one might have went 35. A little bit too much, but oh well. All right, so once we got that, you can drop this back on, and there is, that's my dad doing a dinner bell.
Yeah.
All right, so there's an Allen wrench, Allen screw, right it right there, and it tightens up this bracket around the shaft that comes out of the hydraulic seal. Before you tighten this Allen screw back here, you're going to want to put this bolt in. If not, this will shake and you won't be able to tighten it really good. We're also working on, I don't know if you can see down here, but we're working on changing the fuel gauge, which goes in this hole right in front of the motor, between the motor and the hydraulic pump. It's down back here, and the only way you can get to that is if you lift the cab and take the fan off. That was right here, and that guard, which that guard is right there. I don't know why it's not focusing, but that's the guard. And then the fan is right there on the floor. And it's a pain in the butt. But you also have to take this bracket off that holds one of the hydraulic filters. And if you have an AC machine, it's got the dryer filter for your AC that holds all the moisture inside of your AC unit. But yeah, so we've got a new fuel gauge ordered. It's going to screw down in there, so we got it kind of covered up right now. And there's a plug that plugs into it. When it comes in, it's got a little female plug on the top. You just plug the wire in. But back to this. So we're going to tighten this back down. Because if you don't have this tightened, then you're going to have an extremely hard time trying to tighten up this little Allen screw back here that holds the whole thing on that shaft that comes out. It's kind of a double security system, but I put the end of my Allen wrench inside of this open-end wrench, and you can torque down on it pretty good like that. So nice and tight, good seal, everything's good. All right. Okay guys, I am back. All right, so we got this seal changed. This side is not leaking, but just a word of advice, if you're this far into it, you may as well just go ahead and change this seal. We always do. That way, you know, 10 hours down the road of use, you don't have a seal leaking and you have to do the same thing all over again. So we're gonna get started. This is a 9/16. We're gonna go ahead and take that out. But if this is not loose, you wanna loosen that up first. And what you might wanna get is one of these, an Allen socket. And I think this one is 5/16. I believe that fits in there. Yeah. Go ahead and loosen this before we take this bolt out, because if not, it'll just rock. A few turns should do it. So this bolt is a 9/16. We'll go ahead and take that one all the way out.
Right there.
That's it. It's done. All right, guys, so once we get this bracket off, there's 4 bolts on this bracket, and you take this bracket off and this little washer comes off with it, and then there's another plate beneath that. But for now, we're going to take this bracket, these 4 bolts out, and take this bracket with the washer out. These bolts are going to be a half-inch socket, nothing metric right there. Make sure you wear some good rubber gloves, because if not, whenever you go to lick your nacho cheese off your fingers, you're going to have crud up under there. Don't want that. Ready?
Hydraulic nachos.
Mm-hmm. Gotta love that. Little grit in there with it. We can clean that plate off. Alright, so
Just take it off and clean it.
what we're gonna do is kind of scrape a lot of this crud off so it doesn't get in there where our seal is gonna go. Make sure, keep it as clean as we possibly can. On these old machines, it's kind of hard to do. Get all that out the way, and we're gonna get our new seal ready. Just kind of like an O-ring, but the ring itself is not rounded. It's kind of squared. Don't know how to explain that, but yeah. You might can see it in there. You see that?
Profile is
Yeah,
sharp
it's-
edges.
It's not rounded on the edges. So, yeah. All right. Slide this up. Okay. And take that old one out. Probably be easier to just go ahead and get that seal out right now so we don't damage that new O-ring going in. Okay. Now, we're gonna wipe this. Try to keep that as clean as we can, because this is your hydraulic unit that we're opening up here. All right. Now, we got that. Put the new, I guess we're just gonna call this an O-ring. All right, now what we're gonna do, come over here. We're gonna take this plate, clean it off nice and pretty, inspect it, make sure there's no cracks, which I don't see why there would be, but I just felt like saying that. All right, then we're gonna take our new seal. Now it's important to pay attention the orientation of these. You got one side that's open, it looks like a U, and that side goes down onto the shaft, okay? So it presses in from the bottom. So what we want to do is make sure we got this as the top. It's kind of, I don't know if you can see that right there. Let me get that thing. So inside of this plate, there's a lip. Actually, we need to clean that too. So, oh, I just cut my glove. Now I'm gonna have hydraulic nacho cheese. Okay, got that good and clean. So that kind of keeps the seal from pushing all the way through. So you just flip it over, try to push it in as evenly as you can. It's only going to go so far, and there's a lip on the seal that'll stop it here, and then there's that lip on that side that'll stop it there. And if it doesn't go all the way on, then once you tighten the other plate, it'll push all the way down. All right, so again, make sure we got it nice and clean. Our surface is clean. We put this back on. All right, line up the bolt holes. And once we got that done, all right, so we got the bottom of our plate clean as we can get it. And this can only go one way as well, so slide that back over it. Make sure our little rubber gasket goes on there right. And then we can try to line up our bolts. Get those in there. So what you want to do with these is just kind of snug one of them down and then go across like we did on the first one. Snug that down. Snug. Snug. All right, we'll start back at one. Not torquing it down just yet. Just get them pretty tight, and then we'll start the torquing process. There we go. And what we're going to do there is
Knock it down a little bit.
we can put this bolt in there. I'll bring it down. We'll try to line this bolt up, because you want to tighten this bolt before you tighten this Allen screw back up, because if not, it's just gonna shimmy shake on you.
I gotta go down all the way.
Yep. All right, so this is a 9/16 bolt right here. Now we got our 5/16 Allen wrench on the socket, and we're gonna tighten this back down. All right. Now, nice and tight. We got it. Now, what we're gonna do is, we got this top plate. It just slides in on those two prongs. And if we can find our other one right here. This goes right here. Okay. And then I'm gonna try to get this nut started. Alrighty. Let me come over here, stick our little head in there, and we start the ratcheting process. Pretty ratchet. I might just swap that around. A little easier. That's better, I guess.
Gotta be crazy tight on you got it.
All right, it should stop because it's got that
Sleeve.
lip. All right, get that nice and tight. Bam.